Hey, what's going on, everybody? Salandia Hammond here, also known as Suham Baby, live in the She Studios with Major Eli Segres, also elect Colonel. I'm just gonna let a couple of people pop on for a few minutes. We are like 30 seconds early. You know, when you were a major, you gotta be early. You can't be late. So we got a couple people popping on. We're gonna ask you guys to go ahead and share this broadcast. Share the broadcast and invite some people to watch it. We got a great show put together for you today on this beautiful Wednesday, July 1st, everybody, July 1st. So let's go ahead and get it kicked off. My guest today is none other than my friend, my classmate, Major Eli Segres, elect Lieutenant Colonel. That's an 05 in the Army, guys. He's here today, and we wanted to talk a little bit about his upbringing, coming from King Street, South Carolina, Williamsburg County, and being selected as a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army. Now, I'm not going to hold the Army part against you, okay? You know I was a Marine now.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Is it okay if I call you Major Eli?
Eli, Major Segres.
Now, I'm going to respect the rank.
Major Segres.
Major Segres. I'm going to respect the rank because you put your time in. You know what I'm saying? You put your time in and you deserve that respect.
Thank you.
I mean, we were just chatting a little bit offline before we came live, and we were both talking. He went into the Army, what'd you say, a week?
A week after high school.
Now tell him when you graduated. Some of the best class on the planet.
1992, King Street Senior High, Boll Weevils.
Boll Weevils, yes. I was in boot camp 3 days after graduation. Delayed entry program.
Yeah, 5 days after graduation, I was in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Wow.
In basic training, lost in the woods.
So you were enlisted first?
I started out enlisted, yes. I did 8 years enlisted, got to the rank of E6.
Wow.
And then decided to say, hey, look, you followed, now let's do some leading.
Come on, somebody. So with E6, how many years did you have in at the time?
I had 8 years in once I made it to the rank of E6.
That's pretty fast. You're fast tracking.
I was fast tracking.
Yeah, you were.
I was fast tracking. So did that. Actually started here in King Street in the 1052nd Transportation. So
1052nd.
Started right up the street here. Like I said, I did 8 years. I did a lot of traveling in those 8 years in the National Guard. And then I'm like, okay, like I said, it's time to stop following. Let's do some leading. See if we can make some changes, influence some young people or some young men on, you know, not just being good men, but being better men.
Oh, now you touched a nerve there. And that's actually what's leading us to this interview is I wanted people in this community to see products of this community doing phenomenal jobs. One of the great things is he is an officer, and I know firsthand what it's like to be an officer in the United States military. It's really a great accomplishment, and to be sitting here beside someone that I actually know, I can physically touch, a classmate, it just does my heart happy. And so you wanted to become an officer to influence even more people and to lead from the front but here's the great thing about that. You served first.
Right.
Can you talk to us about how important it is to be a servant?
If you don't know how to follow, you can never lead. You can lead, but it won't be a good leadership. So I had to learn how to be able to take orders and not always, well, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. Your way may not always be the right way. So when you learn how to follow, learn how to take orders, be submissive to your leadership. When they need something, you were able to do that. Then you can become a leader. You can become a good leader because you knew how to follow and you know what steps to take to not put your service members or soldiers in bad situations. For me, I'm not going to ask a service member to do something that I'm not willing to do myself.
That's so right.
So that's how, that's why I wanted to be a leader.
You know, one of the, I said it yesterday on a live video, one of the great things that I learned in marketing, internet marketing, is that there's this phrase they have, and it's learn some, do some, then teach some.
Yeah, I saw that on one of your pages.
And I believe that if you live by that model, it's amazing the impact it will have on not only on your life, but the lives that you influence along the way.
Right.
Transitioning from enlisted to officer, because you were enlisted, I was enlisted. We looked at officers. You looked at officers, sometimes you'd be like, look at the butterball, or look at the boot lieutenant. Was that hard for you, or was it easier because you had already earned the respect of your enlisted personnel first?
It was a little easier for me, being that I tried to get along with a lot of the service members in the unit I was in. A little help is my dad was in the unit with me as well.
What?
So
I never knew that.
Yeah, he and I were in the same unit in the 1052nd, and I learned a lot from him and the older service members in the unit. So I hung around them a lot. I learned a lot from them. We had one of the service members always used to say, his saying was, "Come here, can't beat been here."
Ooh. Come
here, can't beat been here.
Can't beat
been here.
Ooh.
I've been here longer than you have, young man. Learn something from me. And I did that. And in doing that, when I went to OCS, I didn't go to college, I went to OCS to get commissioned. It helped me out a lot. It made me be able to listen, to be able to take criticism, take praises, or be able to listen to ones that have leadership over you.
That's right.
And it helps you to get to where you need to go.
That's
So
right.
it was a pretty easy transition to me
Good deal.
to become an officer. So.
Let's talk about you being an educated black man. Okay, let's just go ahead and talk about it. I'm excited. I'm going to look at the camera and talk about it. I'm excited to have you here. You hold multiple degrees, and I'm sure multiple certifications. Can you just tell us a little bit about those degrees and a little bit about what you do in the Army?
Okay, I have 3 different degrees. Now they all build on each other.
Right.
I started out with electronics. I went into computers, then I went into information management. Get the information and you figure out how to manage it to get what you need, when you need it, how you need it. So
and let me interrupt you there, and because if I remember correctly, when I was in the Marine Corps, there were not a lot of African Americans in this field. Is it still that way today?
it is still that way today. For my field, I'm a signal officer, so yes, it is still that way. It's getting better. A lot of my friends now are signal officers, so we're growing up in the ranks together,
good
working and camaraderie and making sure we are keeping our network tight and reaching out to other younger service members or younger officers, explaining to them that this field is a good field. You want to feel that when I retire or when I ever do take this uniform off, I could come back as a DA civilian that next Monday, same job, but I just got a shirt and tie on.
That's it. That's
so
it.
I look to the future. I'm not looking just as far as my nose.
Right.
Let me look out further. Get a job that will convert into a civilian job. So when you get out, you have all your certifications.
Right.
I have a pretty good high security clearance.
Oh yeah,
So
but
when
you
I
do.
get out, I got that.
Is there anything higher than top secret?
Yes,
There is. Oh my God. Okay, keep it moving. All right. I can't remember. I think I had. I don't know. I used to be when I was in Iwakuni, Japan. I was working in the headquarters because the colonel ran the base in Iwakuni, Japan, and I worked over there, and so I had to have a clearance, and I think it was just secret. I don't know, but hey, all right, continue on, Major.
So yeah, I did that. I had another. I also have another branch that I can work with, acquisitions, and so that I can come out of the military and be a PM, a project manager. So those were 2 fields that are very lucrative in the civilian life. So those were things that I looked at. That was something I taught my son.
That's very smart.
My son enlisted. And he's a geospatial engineer.
So this is like a family thing.
It's a
it
family
was
thing.
Dad, it's now you.
It's now me. My brother has 19 years. So it's
and your son.
And my son. And so it's good. It's good.
Yeah. So you have a bachelor's and a master's?
A bachelor's in information management and a master's in information management. I'm working on my master's in acquisitions.
Wow. So. Amazing. So is it safe to say that you believe in always being a student?
Always,
Yeah.
yes. You were always a student in some way,
Yeah.
shape, fashion, or form, because
Yeah.
someone is always teaching you
That's
something.
right.
I learn something new every day.
Every day.
So therefore, I am a student.
I'm excited to learn new things.
Yes, yes.
Even when the new things prove that the way that I was thinking or doing something was wrong,
Right.
because now I have the correct way to do it if I decide to
If you
implement
decide.
and do it, right?
So good, so
Love
true,
that,
so
love
true.
that. So I'm a big advocate of information and knowledge and applying knowledge, because a lot of people consume it, but they do nothing
They
with
do
it.
nothing with it.
And we can clearly see, looking at your life, looking at your chest, looking at your shoulders, that you have implemented, the things that you've learned, and we're so proud of you. Okay, so let's go back to 1992. Class of 1992, Boll Weevils, right? Graduating. Did you think, if you could go back to 1992, did you think at that time that you would be where you are right now in 2020? Because you've been in so many different countries. If you don't mind, before you answer that first question, tell everybody the different countries that you've been in, and
Okay. Africa,
Wow.
Iraq, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Spain. Next is Italy. So yeah, I've traveled the world.
You've been in Egypt, right?
I've been in Egypt.
At that part of
I've
it.
been in Egypt. So
Have you seen the pyramids?
yes, I have.
Oh,
Yes,
that
I
is.
have.
Listen, let me tell you. So we will be talking offline,
Okay.
because that is one of the dream destination places for me, is
Oh,
to
okay.
go.
To Egypt.
And yes, absolutely, and take my family. And it's on my vision board to do it this year, because I understand our winter is probably like the best time to
Best
go
time
over
to
there. So
It is lovely too.
It's lovely.
So like I said, we'll talk offline.
I just think it's amazing to
It
be
is.
able to see something that was man-made, and here we are in the year 2020, and we still haven't figured out how it was
How
put
it was
together.
built together. Yeah.
So when I see things like that, and you tell me if you feel the same way, and we'll go back to that 1992 question in a second, but you tell me if you feel the same way. When you see things like that, and in today's world, with today's technology and today's intelligence, and we still can't figure out how that was put together, does that motivate you to just go harder in
It
your
does.
life?
It does. It makes me want to go and see other things.
Yeah.
I'm constantly putting on my list to go see.
Yeah.
So when I see it, I sit down and I look and I'm like, okay, how did they do that? How did they do that? It
Yeah.
is amazing to be there in person, sitting down, looking at it, and wondering how they did that. Just to be places. My family is very religious, so I went to Jordan and to
Oh.
see the Mount Nebo, where they stood up and look out as far as they can see, breathtaking.
Breathtaking.
So things like that motivates me to
Yeah.
want to do more. Every time I go to a different country or something, and there's something there that I can see, if I'm not gonna get in trouble, I'm going to see it.
And it's on the military's
I'm going to see
dime.
it, yes.
Come on now.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why I joined the Marine Corps.
Yes.
Was let's just be real about it, okay? I was like, I'm not going straight to college after high school. I already done that time.
Gotcha.
Secondly, my parents didn't have the money to send me. And thirdly, I wanted to, thirdly, I was avoiding the dream of being in entertainment and acting and whatnot. And fourthly, I was like, well, if I got to do something, I might as well join the Marine Corps, travel, and get paid. But going back to 1992, walking across that stage, getting your diploma and yelling, ah! Did you ever think, oh my God, I would be a lieutenant colonel elect in the Army in 2020. I would have traveled to all of these different continents, these different countries, met so many amazing people and done so many amazing things. Did you ever like just visualize that? Or is it still like you're trying to soak it in and like, this is my life. This is my life. This is me. I'm doing this.
No, I never pictured myself being here. The reason I joined the military, at the time, Desert Storm had just back. Well, Desert Storm was doing.
Yeah.
And so my father left. He was deployed. And it was either go in the National Guard, stay home and help mama with your 4 brothers and sisters, or go in the military and then you and your dad
Be deployed.
be deployed. The dad and the oldest would be deployed. So I chose the route to go National Guard. I
That
wouldn't
had to be a
change it.
difficult decision.
It was a difficult decision because I didn't want to leave my mom at home
Yeah.
with 4 younger siblings. So I did the National Guard thing, worked during the week or whatever, was at home for her, And when my dad came back, he said, so now you can go active duty if you want to.
Wow.
I choose to stay in the National Guard. Don't regret it at all. And then when the opportunity did come, I did go active duty. And thus I'm here now.
Yeah.
Still active duty. Like you say, Lieutenant Colonel Select.
Yes.
So,
Come on, let's talk about that.
It's great. It's great. Now, getting to Lieutenant Colonel, most service members at this rank will tell you that's the pendulum. If you make Lieutenant Colonel, you've made it.
Yeah.
My daughter says, Dad, you can do more than Lieutenant
Come
Colonel.
on, somebody.
My daughter wants me to put that star on.
And you should. You're not sure.
My health being good.
Listen, audience. He needs to get the 06, right? He needs that star, right? If you think so, comment yes right now. Comment yes so that when he gets off this broadcast, he can go back and see this and be encouraged to go forward. He says his health, as long as he's healthy, he's going to be healthy. I'm looking at your skin, man. You must be drinking loads of water because your skin looks good.
Yes.
It's hard to tell that we graduated, what, 26 years ago? 26 years ago.
Yeah.
And look at you.
Look
I
at
am
you.
so proud of you.
Thank you.
As you can tell, this is not an interview. I'm having a conversation with my friend.
Yes.
Okay, see, they're saying yes.
I'm looking at
They're
it.
saying
Yes. I'm looking at the yes.
Put in yes. Nigel says you're handsome. Put in yes and shoot up some hearts for him and tell him go for the star. We got to go Lieutenant Colonel. Matter of fact, I think we need to go General. I mean, we already got Lieutenant Colonel. We need to go Colonel. I think we need to go General. I think Williamsburg County deserves a general out of you. I really do believe that.
But if it happens, I would do the ceremony here.
Oh my goodness.
If I stayed in long enough to reach the rank of general, I would do the ceremony here in Williamsburg County.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Stormy Graham, amazing young man. Amazing young man. He did his ceremony. He did 2 ceremonies. And he did one here in Sand Ridge, South Carolina.
Right.
And we know what's been going on in our little communities here. We won't really get into detail. But to me, for Stormy to come back to Sand Ridge, South Carolina, and get pinned the highest enlisted rank of Sergeant Major in Sand Ridge, that to me meant so much.
It was.
And I really hope that people are inspired. So that leads me to my next question. What do you hope that people will get when they see this interview? How do you hope to inspire young men and women here in our community?
I hope that they'll understand and can see that it doesn't matter where you're from, what cloth you're cut from. With a little hard work and dedication, you can do and be whatever you so desire to. Now, you got to work at it a little bit. Nobody's not going to give you anything in the world today. But if you work at it, you can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. Just take a little work and a little dedication. I'll be there to push you. I'll support you in whatever way, however I can. You know, just know that if Eli Segres, a little shy, small young guy that was running around in King Street High, can be a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army and travel the world, you can do whatever you want to do.
Come on, somebody. Come on now. Yeah. Come on. Listen, I got goosebumps right now all over me. I am inspired. And let me tell you why. Because sometimes when I get up, I'm not inspired.
Right.
And I need to be reminded by people like you that greatness is here. That like you said, it doesn't matter what cloth you're cut from. It's all about what you want to do and how you're going to go after it and go and get it. Now, we know life, right? Has its ups and downs, peaks and valleys. A lot of people see people at a successful stature in their life, and a lot of people make it seem like it's easy. But the truth of the matter is, and I share this is my perception, is that success sometimes is ugly and brutal at first because you're going to fall down, you're going to get cuts and scrapes. Can you tell us, maybe share some of the downs that you went through? Were there ever any times that you wanted to just quit? Can you share something with us? And because what we want to do is we want to be real with you. There are going to be times, there are going to be days you want to quit, but the thing is, don't. So share something with us.
There were many times I woke up and and says, why? Why am I putting myself through this? Why am I
Hold on, don't make me walk off this broadcast. Don't make me. You preaching now. You ain't even got started. I'm sorry. That was so unorthodox. But I told you I'm having a conversation with my friend. Go ahead, say that again.
But I asked why.
Yeah.
Why am I putting myself through this? Why am I struggling to do, we being honest, why am I having to work so hard, harder than others? I got to do 110% where they can do 95%.
Correct, not even 100.
And get away, not even 100. So those were times, yes, it was hard for me to get up and go to work.
Wow.
It was hard for me to do this briefing. It was hard for me to get this report done. But I knew, okay, if I give up, my son Jonathan is going to see me giving up, and then that say, well, Daddy didn't do it. Why do I have to do it?
Leadership by example.
My brother, right up the street there in the 1052nd. Well, big brother didn't do it. Why I got to do it? He didn't get up to go PT. Why I got to get up to go PT? He didn't finish his brief. And not just my family, the younger lieutenants that worked for me. Well, if Captain Segres isn't doing it, why should I do it? So yeah, there were days, yes, I didn't feel good. I had aches and pains, but my service members never seen it. All they saw was Major Segres got up, or Captain Segres got up, or Lieutenant Segres got up, and he did what he had to do to get where he needed to be.
Wow.
And I think they see that, and they pick up on that, and that motivates them.
And you know what, and you can tell me if this is the way for you too. On those particular days, for me, when I would wake up and say, why am I subjecting myself to this? I could go under the radar and be fine.
Yes.
You know, my children would be fine. You know, they might be a little disappointed that mom gave up,
Right.
but they would still be okay, I believe. But on those days, and it's so funny, on those days when I ask myself why, and I say, why go forward, that is the day that someone reaches out to me and says, hey, you inspire me tremendously. Something you said, not something I did, something I said, caused them to get over the hump. In other cases, it's something I did. And I just find it so miraculous that on those days that sometimes I'm struggling, that those are the days that the people that I poured into actually pour back into me.
Yes.
Which then inspires me and motivates me to get up, and it redefines my why. Does that happen to you?
That just recently happened to me on my last deployment. My last deployment was 18 months.
And where was this at?
I was in Doha, Qatar. Now, some people are gonna say he was on vacation. But 18 months away from your family is a long time.
It is a long time.
And there were, I can remember one day I was like, wow, why? Why? All I gotta do is say, hey, look, I'm ready to go home, get somebody to come replace me. But as I was leaving that evening to go home, one of my service members came up and said, sir, I like the way you do things. He says, you were here first in the morning, and you leave after everyone, but you make sure everyone is taken care of when you see something needs to be taken care of.
Love it.
So that was that motivation. Okay, if this young man, I wasn't boasting or trying to do anything, if he could just pick this up, then maybe I need to continue to do what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. So that boosted me up, I mean, real good. Brought me through the rest of my deployments.
Yes.
It was things like that make you.
Small things
Small
like
things.
that. But they have
Just
a
small.
gigantic impact
Yes, they
on
do.
your life.
Yes, they do.
It just, okay, I got a lot from that. I'm processing it, okay? I probably shouldn't have had 2 cups of coffee. Let me just go ahead and say the energy is sky high right now, right? It's just not just a coffee. It's just because I'm sitting here with Major Eli Segres. He's also Lieutenant Colonel elect. That's an 05. We're pushing him to go forward for general in the United States Army. But I got a lot from that. Like, whether we know it or not, we're teachers, right?
Right.
Your life teaches someone by the things that you do, by the things that you don't do, by the things that you say, by the things that you don't say. So it really behooves you to put your best foot forward every freaking day. Let me ask you something. Do you have a journal? Do you write down the things that you aspire to achieve?
Yes, I do.
And the reason why I ask you that is because I've come across a lot of men that don't think that that's important. And so to hear you say yes, that makes me happy.
I have, anytime I go on a deployment or anything, I buy a new one. Right on the binder the dates. And when I think of something, I write it down. When I do something, I write it down. I will go back down, even today, to read things I wrote in my journal in 2003 when I was in Iraq.
Wow.
It just reminds me of, look, you put this in your journal, it has now come to fruition.
How do you feel when you see that?
It's amazing, because when I write it down, it's like, okay, we're going to write it down, and I was like, we're going to hope we may get there. But when I go back and read it, it's like, it's an instant high.
Yes.
Instant high. I'm on cloud 9 when I go back and I see, okay, I accomplished this. So every so often, I'll sit down and read these books.
Yes.
And just the other day, my daughter saw one, kind of flipped through it. I was like, okay.
You're going to get what you're going to get. You're going to see what you're going to see.
So, yeah, it is very uplifting when I can go back and look through that journal and see something. And no, writing in journal is not bad.
No.
It's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
It's a good thing. Because I'm getting older, so I forget a little bit. So when I write it down, I can go back and it'll jog my memory.
That's it.
Sometimes it helps me get back on track where I need to be.
Ooh.
I might slip.
Refocus.
When I read that journal, hey, let's go ahead on and get back in line.
Wow, refocus. I think that's so important for the listening audience to hear. Absolutely important for you guys to hear. Let me tell you something else about my journal. My journal is not just about the things that I want to achieve. It's also some days about what I'm feeling. And if I'm having a bad day, I release that in my journal. And it's so funny because I can go back to a point in my life when I was not living my dreams, and it seemed like every day was a bad day. It was like every day was a bad day because I was miserable because I was not living the life for which I felt I was created. And now I look and I'm like, I'm ecstatic, I'm happy, I'm excited to be here, I'm excited to inspire the next person. So if you're watching this and you have a journal and your journal is just filled with, bad feelings or bad vibes, I'm glad that you're writing that out because you're getting it out, right? But now what I want you to do is make a conscious decision to change your life, to change, find out, and if you gotta go to counseling is not bad, get the counseling. Find out why you are feeling this way, why you're unhappy, why you may be depressed, why you're unfocused, so that you can shift and get in alignment with the life that I believe the Creator created you for, and then begin to write those things in your journal as to what you want to accomplish. I heard you also say something very important. You go back and you reread the things that you've written. I do that sometimes when I am having a bad day, and I can go back and go, oh my God, that was a small success. That was a small success. This small success led to this big success.
Big success, correct.
And then that inspires me.
It does.
It inspires me. So, real quick, how did you feel when your daughter was looking through your journal?
I was like, what's she doing? What's she looking for? But I do have to, when I'm writing, I have to be conscious not to put anything in there that deals with this.
Right, absolutely.
So, when she was looking, I was like, okay, she's now going to know how Daddy thinks. But no, she's your daughter. She already thinks like you anyhow. So it was fine. It was fine. Let her see, okay, Daddy wanted to do this. Or Daddy said he wanted to do this. And look, he did it.
He did it. He did it.
So it's fine.
And this is the reason why I do a lot of videos, because for me, it's so important because I don't know who my great-grandfathers are. And that saddens me, that I don't know my lineage. And now I'm a grandmother, okay, at 46 years old. I'm a grandmother. I love my grandbaby. Yes, I do. And for me, it's so important for me to be able to leave a legacy that they can say, my grandmother was Solandia Hammond, a.k.a. Sue Ham, baby,
Right.
And she did this. She said this.
Yes.
She created this. And they will now have a body of work, whether it be the books, the speaking on videos, the TV shows, they'll have that body of work. And I think that's important that you have those journals, because maybe one day you'll be able to give them to her, and she can have a snapshot of your life. Because to be honest with you, my father died at 56 years old in 2006, and I don't really know that much about his life, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, wow. So that's why I display a lot of stuff. I think we covered, okay, no, I want to ask you some real quick questions.
Okay.
All right, real quick questions. Let's see, I've had you here, Major. Oh, wow, we started at 12. It's been 30 minutes on the dot.
Okay.
All right, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to ask you some really, really, really fast questions. Best moment of your life?
Best moment of my life? The birth of my children, Jonathan, Deanna, and Carissa.
Okay, all right. Favorite book?
Favorite book? My favorite book is a military book, Platoon Leader.
Platoon Leader.
Yeah.
I'll have to pick that one up. Favorite place that you have visited?
Mount Nebo in Jordan.
In Jordan, right. I'm going to put that on my list. I have Jerusalem on my list.
Okay,
I have
I've
to
been
put
there.
You've been there as well?
Mount Nebo was my favorite place to visit.
Wow, okay, so I'm going to put that above Jerusalem then. Favorite rank thus far in the Army?
Captain.
Captain?
Reason being, as a captain, I was a company commander. I had direct hand on troops. That was my best rank was captain. Yeah.
You lit
Hands
up.
down.
You lit up when you said that. You
Hands down, being a company commander was my best time.
Yeah, you lit up. So totally influencing and inspiring people.
Totally influencing,
is near and dear to your
Near
heart.
and dear to my heart.
I
Near
love
and
that.
dear.
I love that. All right. Biggest lesson you've learned?
Biggest lesson I've learned, that if I put my mind and be determined to do it, that I'm gonna get it done at all costs.
All right.
I'm gonna get it done.
Biggest setback?
My first divorce.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, thank you for getting personal with that. And we're going to keep moving.
Okay.
We're going to keep moving. Who is your biggest mentor?
My dad.
Dad. Okay.
My dad.
Your dad. And if you were not in the Army, what would you be doing right now?
Ooh, what would I be doing?
Wow, we had a call come through and it was on airplane mode. But if you weren't in the Army, I'll ask the question again. If you weren't in the Army, what would you be doing?
Well, prior to coming on, when I was in the National Guard, prior to coming on, I was a design engineer at Santee Cooper. Santee Cooper.
What does that entail? What is that?
Designing electrical substations. You see it's in a fenced-in area, and they look like a lot of electrical wires.
Okay.
I used to design those.
I did not know you had those capabilities in high school.
Yes, I used to design those.
That's amazing. So that's what you would be doing right
That's
now?
what I'll be doing now.
Okay, all right. Favorite, what is your hobbies? Name 2, 3 of your hobbies.
Golf. I love to play golf.
Now, is that because you're an officer? Because you know when you're an officer, you're liking, especially high-ranking officer, you're liking to these CEOs and you play golf. So, or is it just because you like it?
I like it and it's relaxing.
Okay,
To
gotcha.
me, some people say it's challenging, but golf is relaxing. to
Okay.
me. So I like to play golf, and I just like to sit down and doodle.
Doodle?
Draw.
Me too. You know what's so funny? is I used to write my name all the time. I would always practice signing my name. And for me, it was always autographs and checks.
I still sit down and just write my name and go back and look at it. Yeah.
I do. I've done it my best friend, Coretta Fulton, we've been friends since 5 years old.
Another classmate.
Another classmate, class 92, Bo Eagles. Been friends since 5 years old, since kindergarten, and we're 46 now. And she'll tell you, I've been writing my name ever since she's known me. And I was just like, one day I'm going to be famous.
Okay.
Words have power, you believe?
Yes.
The
Yes.
written
You
word
can
has
speak-
power?
Written or spoken.
Has power.
Speak it into existence.
All right, because I know that you are a man that's all about time. What time did the interview was scheduled to go at 12. What time were you actually outside the studios today waiting on me?
11:30.
11:30.
If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
Right.
That's just something in
that's the military thing. And so, in the Marine Corps, we were like 15 minutes prior, right?
Yes.
So I got here about 11:40, and I pulled up, and he was already here. I was like, okay, Army, okay. So I appreciate that. I respect your time, and so we're going to go ahead and end this. But what I would love to do is I would love to toss it to you and let you speak to the listening audience, give them some words of encouragement. Specifically, we know that people worldwide are seeing this, but specifically to people here in Williamsburg County.
My fellow Kingstree family, Williamsburg County family. I am a product of Kingstree. It took Kingstree to raise me to be where I am. And when I say Kingstree, it was not just the individuals in the Holy Woods. It was the Kingstree community, because you knew me, you knew Eli Segres from working in Piggly Wiggly back in your grocery. You knew Eli Segres from playing basketball, playing baseball. So when you saw me, you encouraged me. You made sure I was doing the right thing when I need to be doing it and where I needed to be doing it at. So you grew me. You made me to who I am. To my young Kingstree sisters and brothers and young children, you can yourself wear this uniform. Or the Marines. I'm in the Army, so I'm biased to the Army. But you can wear any other sister uniform. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, and now Space Force. You can wear either of these uniforms. You can soar higher than I am. Right now, Lieutenant Colonel Select. Don't let that stop you. Go ahead on and try to put all 4 stars on. There's nothing stopping you. My son put a picture on Facebook the other day of himself in the mirror, and he said, Jonathan, you are looking at your challenge. You are your challenge. You are the one that can hinder you from doing what you want to do. If you put your mind to it, work hard, you can be what you want to be. I look forward to seeing some of you all shaking your hands and just talking. I don't have to be in uniform for you to talk to me. If you see me and want to talk to me or ask questions, please feel free to do so.
I love it. I'm really, really, really inspired. You have lifted my spirits today. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
We're already going to speak it into his life. Next time you see him, he'll be general. When we do this interview, he's already Lieutenant Colonel-elect. His daughter is encouraging him to be colonel. We are encouraging him to be general. We're going to have a general here in Williamsburg County. Thank you so much, my friend, my classmate. I am so proud of you. If there's anything I can do for you or your family, please let me know.
Will do.
Awesome.
All right.
Guys, I am Solandia Hammond, also known as Sue Ham Baby, here at SueHam.com, signing off with Lieutenant Colonel-elect Eli Segres. You guys remember to live, love, learn, and laugh. Don't quit. Follow your dreams to success. And please, we're encouraging everyone to share this video so that the ones who are watching can be inspired and impacted to live the life of their dreams. Peace. We're out, chat.